All right, greetings this morning. And this morning, we want to use as a sermon title, Arise After the Blow. And this comes from the text of Joshua, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. We want to propose as thesis this morning, God does not deny our grief, but God calls us to rise with courage, confront the realities before us, and cross over into the future that God has prepared. Joshua 1 begins with a hard truth. After the death of Moses. Now, before God gives Joshua a promise, God names the pain. Moses is dead. The leader is gone. The old season is over. Israel is standing between what used to be and what has yet to become. And God says, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, therefore, arise. That is a word for anybody who has had to stand after something died. I know something about that lately myself. Job loss can feel like death. It can feel like the death of security, the death of reputation, the death of routine, the death of how people see you, and sometimes the death of how you see yourself. It brings mental anguish, emotional weight, sleepless nights, and the temptation to let pain preach louder than promise. But God told Joshua, arise. Not because Joshua was not grieving, not because the future was easy, not because the Jordan River had moved, but because God was still speaking. Joshua had to learn that grief is real, but grief is not God. Loss is real, but loss is not the Lord. The wilderness is real, but the wilderness is not the final destination. And that word is not only personal. Listen, that word is also very, very public. In Louisiana versus Calais, the Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's second majority black congressional district, weakening the power of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This decision is not merely technical or procedural, it is racist in impact and reeks of white supremacy because it protects political maps that diminish black voting power while treating remedies for racial exclusion as constitutional threats. Now, for black voters in Louisiana, the ruling reduces their ability to elect candidates of choice. More broadly, it continues the rollback of civil rights legislation and gains, reminding us that democracy remains under attack when racial justice is treated as the problem. So Joshua 1 speaks to a people living under pressure. When rights are weakened, when dignity is questioned, when institutions wound, when systems seem determined to turn back the hands of the clock, God still says, be strong and courageous. Now, courage in Joshua is not arrogance. Let's be clear about that. Courage is not denial. Courage is disciplined faith. God tells Joshua to meditate on the law day and night. In other words, do not let fear, false evidence appearing real, form you. Do not let bitterness form you. Do not let Pharaoh, empire, oligarchy, and in this situation, kleptocratic oligarchy or rejection form you. Let the word form you. And the people had to move together. Nobody crossed this river Jordan alone. I mean, the tribes were reminded that their rest was tied to their neighbor's struggle. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That is a word for the church today. We do not get free by ourselves. No. We do not heal by ourselves. We do not protect democracy or voting rights or human rights or sacred dignity by ourselves. We cross together. As coalition, we move together. So here's the celebration. Moses may be dead, but God is not. The job may be lost, but my calling is not. The wound may be deep, but healing is still possible. The law may be weakened, but justice still rolls. The enemy may be loud, but God still speaks. I hear, be strong, be courageous, arise after the blow. Step toward the river, carry your scars, but not surrender your song. I will trust in the Lord. Yes, because the same God who kept you in the wilderness is the same God who will bring you across River Jordan. And when God brings you across, you will not simply say, I survived. No, you will say, the Lord made a way. As a matter of fact, it was a way out of no way. The Lord gave me strength. The Lord helped me arise. God bless you. Be encouraged. Ashe.